Okay. Do you have your ID on you?
I don't have any ID on me, guy.
Okay.
And if I did, I wouldn't give it to you anyway.
All right. Well, you need to just move along. That's all they want you to do.
Nope, not happening.
Why?
Because I'm just saying God bless someone's house.
Okay. Yeah, and you have the right to do that.
Yeah.
They just don't want you in front of their business.
Why did you ask Mr. Gray to move along or leave the area?
The business owner said initially saying that he was asking his customers for money. He just didn't want them up front of his business.
Okay. What was Mr. Gray's response?
He said he wasn't going to move. He said he has the right to be there and he didn't want to. He didn't feel like
Because you just, like, I don't know if he said what amendment, but he's like, you just violated his rights.
Sergeant Richard Kirkland, along with officers Kay Beatty and Brett Galt, find themselves under interrogation as subjects of an investigation conducted by the new Smyrna Beach Police Department. The alleged illegal detention of a veteran named Jeffrey Gray on December 14, 2021 is what prompted this investigation. The captured footage exposes the actions of purportedly corrupt officers and highlights the accountability they must face for their deceptive conduct.
For money and stuff like that.
Well, God bless them, listen.
Okay. Well, they don't want you up front of the business.
I don't want you up in front of the business.
Okay. Well, that's not how this is
So
going
you
to
can
go.
go get in your car and leave.
No.
I'll give you 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have a nice night.
They just don't want you up here anymore.
I don't care. They don't have the authority to tell me not to be here.
They said you're asking for money and stuff like that.
That's what they said. It's hearsay.
Huh?
It's hearsay. I say I'm not asking for money.
Okay, well, they said you're up front. So can you just go somewhere else?
No.
Why?
Because I'm not going somewhere. I'll put it in my heart to stand right here. I'm going to stand right here.
Okay, but they don't want you blocking the sidewalk and stuff.
I'm not blocking the sidewalk.
Okay. Do you have your ID on you?
I don't have any ID on me, guy.
Okay.
And if I did, I wouldn't give it to you anyway.
All right, well, you need to just move along. That's all they want you to do.
Nope, not happening.
Why?
Because I'm just saying God bless someone's house.
Okay, yeah, and you have the right to do that.
Yeah.
They just don't want you in front of their business.
Officer Galt approaches Mr. Jeff Gray, holding a signboard that reads, "God bless the homeless." Requesting identification, Officer Galt encounters resistance as Jeff denies the request, asserting his right to occupy the public sidewalk.
Did you guys told him?
Yeah, yes, sir.
And you can ask him for money?
Yeah.
He's just saying he's doing his political God bless America stuff. He's on his public sidewalk and he doesn't want to leave. You guys know him?
No. One of my employees has dealt with him before at another location. I've never seen him before here. I've had a couple of customers complain about it. He asked me to go up the street. I'm like, dude, I tried to talk to him and be like, hey man,
He's saying the same thing to me, that he's on his public sidewalk and he's not asking people for money. He's just saying God bless.
when I went out there, he was on our sidewalk, on our side of the sidewalk.
Okay. Is that okay if he just stays on the public sidewalk? And
I'd rather he didn't.
he's not going to. He's recording me. I'm recording him. This is going to be. I mean, he doesn't want to identify himself, so.
Right. And that's not like him harassing customers out there.
If it's gotten to that point.
Officer Galt summons Officer Beatty to the scene, where Beatty informs Jeff that he allegedly violates a city ordinance against panhandling. In the course of this encounter, Beatty confiscates Jeff's firearm, proceeds to handcuff him, and places him under detention, thereby violating Jeff's rights.
You were asking for money. Okay. So they have every right to have you move along. And since we're here, because they called for you, we have to identify you.
I'm not giving you any ID.
If you don't, you'll go to jail.
I'm not giving you any ID. I got to show him. Can I reach? I got my ID. This is my ID.
You want to play that game?
I'm not showing you anything else. At this point, I'm invoking my right to remain silent. I'm invoking my right to have my attorney present during questions. I'm not answering questions. I'm not giving you ID.
Okay.
All right.
I'm just making sure that you understand that your attorney has nothing to do with us. Okay, your attorney has to do with court. That's not us. And because we're here for you, we have the right during an investigation to identify you.
I'm not identifying myself.
Okay, so you're going to end up going
All right.
to jail.
I told him my name is Jeff, and that's all I'm giving you.
No, if you want to give us your information, then that's fine. But we still have to
Am I being
identify
detained at this point?
you. Yes.
For what?
For the identification of you, which is an investigation that they started.
Okay, I'm not giving any identification. I would like to remain silent.
Okay. At this point, you're being detained. Okay. So, let me see this. Do you have anything in your pockets at all? poke, stab, or anything?
Since you're asking me if I have anything in my pockets, I am armed lawfully.
Okay.
Concealed carry permit.
Okay, where's it at?
Here's my hands. It's in my pocket.
In your front pocket?
Yeah. Here's my hands. Perfect. Matter of fact, why don't you guys just put me in cuffs? I don't want any.
Yeah. You are allowed your attorney, but your attorney is a corporate. That's not us thing. All we want to do is identify you so that.
I don't consent to any searches. I don't consent to any seizures.
Well, you're right now. I'm making sure you have no knives on you. And then when they write a statement saying that you were breaking the law, what's this? Is that a knife or no? Is that a knife?
I don't have any knives.
Okay.
There's 2 magazines in my left pocket.
Okay.
So I don't consent to any searches.
That's fine. You just told me there's magazines to the gun that I just pulled off, so I'm just grabbing those. You still have keys on you that don't have a knife.
Officer Beatty explains Jeff's detainment, during which Jeff asserts his rights, demonstrating a superior understanding of the law compared to the officers. A subsequent investigation revealed Jeff was not violating laws and had the right to be on the sidewalk.
Your sign doesn't say anything about money. And I just asked the guy who's sitting on the porch, and he says he didn't hear you beg for money. And so the only person who has a complaint about you standing on city property, which is not his problem, which is what I was explaining to him.
I just want to stand there on the sidewalk.
That's what I was trying to just tell you. I just gotta figure out what's going on.
10-4. So you have the right to be on the sidewalks, and you have a CCW. You have the right to carry.
On December 15, a supervisory inquiry was conducted, and Sergeant Kirkland underwent interrogation concerning the incident. During this session, Sergeant Kirkland contributes vital findings incorporated into the report.
The policy violation. You proffered a couple of policy violations. The one, can you read that from the record there? Group 2.
The Group 2M, violation of rules, orders, etc., issued by the City Commission. It's basically, he violated our rules and policies and procedures, regulations by ultimately going against what he did for preliminary and follow-up investigations. He basically detained someone without the legal authority to do so. So clearly in violation of that policy. As far as Officer Galt, I do think that he also had a duty to recognize that what was going on was not okay. But again, I think he was naive and ignorant to the fact that panhandling is not against the law, and we cannot enforce a panhandling complaint by detaining people. So I think that they were operating under the impression that what they were doing was correct, but were just misinformed.
On December 27, 2021, documents and videos, including YouTube and bodycam footage, undergo review. Officer Galt is sworn in and cautioned about perjury. Subsequently, he is subjected to interrogation concerning the incident involving Mr. Gray.
Contact with, we'll call him Mr. Gray because we ultimately did identify him during the encounter. Can you describe the interaction you had with him?
I was just trying to be like people, like I am on most calls, just trying to get to know who he was, what his purpose was there. He was really blunt, not like straight up, not like asking or answering my just questions, just normal questions I had. Just what are you doing there? Is there a purpose you're up here? Stuff like that. He was just keeping to himself at that point.
Okay. What did he tell you he was doing?
That he was just whatever the sign was like, God bless the homeless vets. He was just trying to make people aware that God needs to bless the homeless vets.
Okay.
And he just kept going on that topic.
Where was he at when you first encountered him?
On the sidewalk, by the car, by the light post.
By the curb?
Yeah, by
Where
the
the
curb.
car's parked?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you ask Mr. Gray to move along or leave the area?
The business owner said initially saying that he was asking his customers for money. he just didn't want him up front of his business.
Okay. What was Mr. Gray's response?
He said he wasn't going to move. He said he has the right to be there, and he didn't feel like.
Officer Galt is apprised of the violations he committed by infringing upon Jeff's rights, revealing a deficiency in his understanding of the laws he is tasked with upholding.
Describe Officer Beatty's initial contact with Mr. Gray.
He was asking him the same questions I was, kind of starting over the process. And then when he didn't want to identify himself, that's when he kind of went, instead of talking to the business owner, he kind of went hands-on with Mr. Gray. And at that point, I usually, like when we investigate other crimes and stuff like that, we listen to both sides of the stories, come back, talk to each other, and I don't know where that happened. Maybe because he was frustrated with him.
Do you think that would have been a more prudent course of action to continue the investigation and figure out what's going on?
I do, yeah.
On the evening of January 2, 2022, Officer Beatty is sworn in and notified of potential perjury. He is provided with an in-depth list detailing the violations he committed, stemming from misinformation regarding state statutes.
For money, or another way to call it, panhandling, in a public place, public sidewalk, is that a crime or a city ordinance violation?
To my knowledge now.
No, I want you to tell me what were you thinking.
When I came to the scene, when I came on scene, I did think we had a city ordinance. I swore we had a city ordinance.
Okay.
That you weren't allowed to panhandle. Even more so, because I could have sworn that I've been told to enforce that right underneath the Martin Luther King Bridge on the Lytle extension.
Officer Beatty recounts his interaction with the employee manager, Axel, revealing that it becomes evident Mr. Gray had not committed any crime during the encounter.
With the business employee, the manager, Axel's his name, was there evidence that any crime or city ordinance had been committed at that point?
No.
So your investigation resulted in that there was no crime, even assuming that your assumption that panhandling was a crime.
Correct.
Okay.
He actually, when I asked him why, 'cause we get told that all the time, he threatened me or she threatened me.
Right.
And so you ask what that is, and he said, well, he didn't really say anything to my waitress. She just is afraid to come back outside now because he's here.
Okay.
And I said, well, that's not on him.
Right.
He's allowed to be where he's at.
Okay.
And
Fair
that's
enough.
when I was done.
Officer Beatty elaborates on how he informed Sergeant Kirkland after the incident, exposing that Kirkland acknowledged the violation of Mr. Gray's rights.
Did you call Sergeant Kirkland after the fact to advise him of the incident?
Yes.
Can you describe what his response was to you?
He immediately said, well, you violated every right he has.
Okay. I couldn't hear the other side of the conversation on the phone, but what do you mean by that? I mean,
That's just what he said. I told him what went down. I told him, the manager's saying this, and he's being defiant. So to get space between the manager and him, we detained him for the investigation, brought him over to my car, and then he's like, well, I hope he doesn't make a big deal out of this because you just, I don't know if he said what amendment, but he's like, you just violated his rights.
Officers BD and Galt face accountability for violating the rights of Mr. Jeffrey Gray, wrongfully detaining him based on misinformation about city laws. Sergeant Kirkland is implicated in inadequate supervision of his officers and a failure to ensure their knowledge of city laws. Always remember that being an agent of the law doesn't guarantee they will always have your best interests at heart.